Hello everyone. I am Vijayanandam TR, Indian Forest Service Officer, 2018 batch. Currently undergoing training in Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy, Dehradun. I belong to MP cadre. So our training is of 16 months. It's going to end next month. So probably we'll be getting our postings by mid of May. First I want to start with some basic current thing. So something about coronavirus. So some 5 points to just do some awareness from my side. First, it's not a deadly virus. Only comorbidity is high. So take care of elderly people. Maintain social distancing like UPSC aspirants. UPSC aspirants by default maintain social distancing. So don't travel unnecessarily. Wash your hands often. Symptoms include cough, headache, breathlessness. If you find these symptoms, see your doctor immediately. So don't go for panic buying, because elderly people and others might also need that. So don't go for panic buying. Don't spread rumors. Verify the source with the proper links and then spread the news. Utilize your time productively. Relax. Prepare for exam. Do workouts and be healthy. So now I enter into my topic. So why me? Why UPSC_guide choose me? So first of all, IFS cutoff, as everyone knows, at least you need to score 15 to 20 marks higher than the CSE cutoff. So I had cleared IFS cutoff twice, and thrice I have written with CSE. In that, all the 3 times I have cleared prelims. Twice I have cleared IFS cutoff. So my highest mark in prelims is 142 in my second attempt. In my third attempt I got 126. In my first attempt I got 117. So I can clearly say that this is my prelims is my core strength in among all the 3 phases of UPSC. So I would like to guide UPSC aspirants because I myself is the beneficiary of the guidance by officers like Mr. Sudha Raman IFS, Mr. Praveen Kaswan IFS. So I want to give back. So to get my materials and my guidance, you can log into my website vijayinjananam.com. I will post in the comments soon, and you can mail me also vijayanandam.ifs2018@gmail.com. So let us go. So the first task given to me was my strategy. So initially I was going for a job. So wait a minute, I will check the time. Okay, I have 25 minutes left. So first, initially in my first attempt I was going for a job. So I had some 6 months in my hand before prelims. So what I did, I revised, I read NCERT at least 3 to 4 times, because NCERT is the fundamental of everything. So you need to read NCERT, and you need to read NCERT like a story. For that, you need to buy some basic NCERTs from 6th to 12th standard, and you need to read them and engulf them by heart. So once you read that for 3 to 4 times, you can attend all the basic questions of UPSC. Then I went on to go ahead for basic books like Lakshmikant for polity, Gochangalam for geography. I covered them at least twice. Then The Hindu. So probably when I entered UPSC around 2014 September, it was the first time where the current affairs trend was coming into UPSC. So I read The Hindu elaborately, detailedly, and I prepared my own notes. But now preparing own notes is not necessary, as many UPSC channels and websites are giving current affairs links, and you can read from them. But that should be supplement for The Hindu. It should not be complementary for. It should not replace the newspaper reading. Now daily current affairs. Every day after finishing the newspaper, I will go for current affairs quiz in any website, in any UPSC website. So that will help. That helped me to revise the newspaper readings, whatever I have read in the morning, in the evening. So it was like reading the newspaper twice in a day. So by that way I maintain my UPSC preparation. So now only 2 months left. That means 8 weeks. So what shall one do? You cannot read all the subjects fully. You may be weak in one subject, you may be strong in another subject. So in this just 2 months, is it possible to read all the subjects? No, it's not possible. So now I believe that you all completed your basic NCRTs, you all completed your basic books, and you are thorough with your basics. Now, what shall I do within this 2 months? This is the first job given to me, so I will deal in detail. First, attend subject-wise test series. 3 days one subject. For example, history. 3 days revise history and go for test series. 3 days revise geography and go for test series. Now see your marks in the subject. See in which subject you are scoring less and which subject you are scoring high. Now take particular subject and read it again rather than reading the whole subject fully. Now I give you a tip for you. See, some websites like examrobot.com, online theory, and other many UPSC website has topic wise test series within the subject wise test series. For example, if you take India after 1847, in examrobot.com, for example, there are subtopics like 1847 to 1900, 900 to 1919, 1919 to 1947. You attend topics test series within the subject based test series. For example, I was keep on scoring low marks in Indian national movement. I was wondering why, because I was attending the whole history fully. I could not make it where I am doing a mistake. Then I went for topic wise test series within the subject wise test series. Then I found out that I am making most of my mistakes between history part from Indian national movement 1919 to 1947. Then I read that part alone once or twice, then strengthened myself, then attended the history subject wise test series, then I scored a lot. So rather than reading fully from as a block, you can go for topic wise test series and attend them. Okay, this will help you to clear all the doubts. Now, so many people are like missing the UPSC prelims by CSAT. So how to tackle CSAT? So for getting good score or clearing CSAT, you no need to attend CSAT questions linearly, like immediately after getting the question paper. Many people will go for first question, second question, third question. No, you no need to score some 120, 130 marks in CSAT. You just need to pass. So for that, what should you do? Once you got the question paper, just see which questions you know. Directly just go through the paper for at least 2 to 3 minutes and see which questions you know. Select those questions and attend those questions first. By this way, you can easily pass the examination. You don't need to score around 130, 140 and all in CSAT. Okay. So for that, what you should do? If you analyze the past 3 to 4 years CSAT question paper, you will get to know some problems are repeating. For example, train, boat and streams, probability of balls, dice, syllogism. So these are the questions. Some 10 topics are there that will be repeated often in CSAT. So what you should do means, in those 2 months, in the first month, take one topic in CSAT, for example train, for 3-4 days. Start from basic difficulty level to highest difficulty level. Finish the train in train problem questions from indiabix.com or any other book in those 3 days. By that way, you will be well versed in the train topic. So whatever UPSC log, how difficult they will ask, you will directly you can easily sail through that question. Like that way, select 10 topics and be thorough in those 10 topics. You will easily clear CSAT examination. So that's what I did, and by reading the newspaper well and finding the answer for all the vocabularies, so I easily scored very well in the English papers also, English questions of the CSAT also. By this way, you can easily go. Don't go attend CSAT paper linearly. So in for analytical reasoning, you can go for analytical reasoning by MK Pandey book. So in those 2 months, first month you should go subject wise. In subject wise, within you have to go to topic wise. In those topic wise, you have to reread only those topics that you are weak. You don't need to read fully. Okay. In the last month you should completely dedicate it for full test series. Last month you should completely dedicate yourself for the full test series. So weekly at least one full test series you should give. That means at least 4 to 5 full test series in last month you should give. But that full test series should be like back to back. Morning you should give GS, afternoon you should give CSAT, like the same in the UPSC format. You should simulate that exam environment in your test series. Better go to coaching institute or any mock test, all India mock test that is conducting offline, so that you can get the feel of UPSC. This will give you the confidence. So in this 1 month, what you should do, you should do quick revision of last 16 months current affairs. Why current affairs you should revise in last month? Because current affairs is the only thing you read very less, not in detail, not repeatedly. But static portion you would have read very detailedly, but current affairs you might not have read very detailedly. So what you should do means you should revise past 16 months current affairs. Just go through, so that your memories will be refreshed. And in static subject, don't go for reading of all the subjects. Just take 5 subjects: history, polity, environment, geography and economics. Revise these subjects alone. Concentrate on your weak areas, because these subjects will cover 60% of total UPSC questions. Plus current affairs 30 questions. It means 90% of area you will be covering in just 1 month. Okay, remaining that 10% your memory will help, or like leave it to your luck. Something will happen, you will clear, because if you are strong in this 90%, you can easily get 80 plus questions easily clear. So last month you should dedicate for these 5 subjects alone, and some 5 tests, full test series, and past 16 months current affairs revision. Don't add new books or new materials etc. To your revision schedule in the last minute. Okay, so this is my strategy. This is what I did for my past 3 prelims, and how I got 142 or 126 or 117 in my prelims. Now, how to maximize prelims score? This was the first question given to me. They have to answer this question. So you have to very good in NCERT. Basics and fundamentals should be very clear, and test series you should attend. So how to maximize the score? To every topper knows all the 85 questions he is attending? No. Once, for example, in my second attempt, I scored 142 in prelims GS. It does not mean that I knew most of the questions that I had attended. No, I don't know all the questions. I might have known some 60 questions. Rest, I went for some techniques. So what are the techniques? I have written these techniques detailedly in my website vijayandananam.com. But I explain here what are the techniques I followed in that website. First, intelligent guesses. For example, you cannot read everything in this world, but sometimes you need to guess what the answer might be. For example, in 2016, one question came: this hornbill present in which region of the world? In the option, it was some desert was there, some wetland was there, and some desert was there, some wetland was there, and also some one forest was there, evergreen forest was there, and some dry forest was there. So I don't know any clue about that hornbill. Okay, but I know from my intelligent common sense that hornbill definitely found in the regions like evergreen forest where the lot of fruits are available. Definitely in drought region or dry forest or like in desert cold region that won't be present. So by guessing intelligently, I just ticked the tropical rainforest and it got correct. So by this way you can easily get an answer correct without even reading about it. Second is connecting the dots. For example, once they asked a question about OLED. Secondly, once they asked the question about OLED, I don't even know any clue about OLED. But in the option they have given, OLED is rollable. Second option, OLED was flexible. So something is flexible means definitely it will be rollable. So by the option itself you derived the answer that so something is rollable, something it will be definitely flexible. So I thought like definitely I can go with it because there is some connection between the options itself. So I went and ticked and it got correct. Next is common sense. Common sense. My mentor used to tell that common sense is not common nowadays. So you have to train yourself in the test series itself to get these answers correct. For example, for some questions, you might not know the answer, but if you just use your common sense, you can get it correct. For example, once they ask the question about butterfly, if there is a huge fall in population of butterfly, what will happen? Pollination some plants will be affected. There will be drastic increase in fungal infection. There will be fall in wasp or spider population. No, I have never read about these things together anywhere, but I know if butterflies fall in butterfly population, there will be some effect in the pollination. and there will be some spiders and wasps kill butterflies and eat, that I know. But what is the relation between butterfly and fungus? Fungus is a non-pollinating one. So what it does not depend on butterfly pollination. What is the relation between fungus and butterfly? So there is no relation. So I thought like only first and third option will go. Then I went ahead. This is just by common sense, but just by what we have read in the basic science book of NCERTs from 6th to 12th, not from any big books. So I just went ahead and I got correct. So this is by just using your common sense you can get answers correct. You cannot always know everything and then go to exam. You have to connect the dots and write the examination. So now fourth point, watching the words. You should watch the words like only, some, all, almost, none. So you have to be careful in those words, because UPSC keep trap on these words. If you find these words in the question, you just underline and read that question again and answer, because if you leave those words very loosely, then you might fall trap in that. So watch those words and answer the question properly. So the second question, so I have 15 minutes left to finish my part. So the second question given to me was elimination method. So how can one answer UPSC questions by elimination method? So first, when one should go for elimination. So first, what is elimination method? Elimination method means you does not know the answer, correct answer. So you have to eliminate the wrong answer. By this way, by eliminating one by one, you will reach the correct answer. So when one should go for elimination method? When you know at least one question, at least one option is wrong, rest three are right, or when at least two options are wrong and rest two are right. At this time only you have to go for elimination method. When you know that there is some logical connection between the choices. So there are some 2-3 choices where you find some two choices are like looking similar and rest two are completely out of anything from the question. So at that time only you have to go for elimination method. You should not depend on your faded memory, like I have read it somewhere but I forgot. Don't ever depend on your faded memory to attend the UPSC questions prelims. Always depend on the logics to fix the answers. See the words only, more than, all, etc. Check if any numbers are there, like 1600 kilocalories, etc. For example, once there was a question regarding a scheme. It was written that in this scheme 1600 calories per day will be given to pregnant women. But think, as per Tendulkar poverty line, minimum calorie is some 2100 for normal person. So if for normal person, for below poverty line definition itself is 2100 calorie, means how 1600 calories will be enough for a pregnant woman? So by logic itself this question is wrong. So by this logic I eliminated that one. So you need to put in your logic somewhere, whatever you read, and put connecting those things, and then you have to eliminate those options. Now so in my opinion, these are the ways I put elimination method and eliminate options. So my opinion, you should remove at least 2 wrong choices and only go for elimination method and fix a circle in the answer only if you know that there are 2 wrong choices and eliminate them, and you can go for your for remaining 2 choices. So there is one frequent question. Right now I am scoring only 50 to 60 marks in prelims test series. So is it possible for me to clear the prelims? Frankly speaking, it's impossible to clear prelims if you are scoring just 50 to 60 in your test series, because whatever you are scoring in test series will be replicated or like plus or minus some 10 marks in the UPSC examination. This is from my personal experience. So you cannot clear UPSC prelims by just scoring some 50 to 60 marks. So but you still have time, you still have 2 months. Follow whatever I have said and follow whatever your mentors have said. So if your score crosses 100 just before a week of prelims, you can go ahead with your UPSC prelims. If you can't do that, just wait for one more year, prepare well and do next year. Don't waste your UPSC attempt, because more or less your UPSC test series will be replicated there. Most important topics for prelims. So see, we cannot predict UPSC, but we can say that UPSC definitely asks questions from static portion, that too at least 60% of questions from polity, geography, economy, environment and polity. So only I have asked you to revise these 5 subjects and pass 16 months current affairs in the last 1 month or 2 months. So if you analyze for last 10 years, you could find some pattern of asking questions. For example, Economics, they will definitely ask basic conceptual questions like if inflation increases, export decreases. If this increases, that decreases. So they have the tendency of clubbing some 3-4 indexes and asking the question. So be thorough in the conceptual clarity in economics. Second, definitely there will be one question on president, vice president, governor and polity. So these are all basic questions and you should have clarity on that. So you have to analyze a pattern and read according to it. So fifth question I was asked to reply is solving mock test. How important is that and why? It takes at least 2 years to clear prelims exam, UPSC examination. You can't directly go and sit in UPSC prelims to test your skill. So mock test help you to test intermittently. Subject wise and topic wise, you can test series help you to find your weakness and where you are weak. Revisions via mock test. For example, many times I revise my subjects by attending mock test. By just sitting in the discussion after mock test, many people have this tendency. They will write a test and go away. No, it's of no use. You have to write the test and sit for the discussion in the coaching institute or in the online, so that you can know the 100 answers and you can know how that answers for 100 questions were derived. So that will help you to think in the UPSC. So definitely you should sit for the discussion of mock test series. Okay, don't miss that. So scoring high and getting good rank, like for example All India Test Series exam, will boost your morale. Okay, it's like getting a report card in your schools. And exam like environment, definitely one should attend at least 2 to 3 test series in the exam like environment. Go to some free test series from coaching institute, some All India mock test series online and all, so that you can have some exam like environment, so that you won't get scared during exam time. It will be relaxing, it will be refreshing if you attend and get good marks in the mock test. And definitely one should know that you should not attend only the mock test of the institute that you have studied, because their questions will be from those that they have taught. So you should attend the mock test of some different institute which you don't have any attachment with, so that you can get to know how good you are, and solve at least 10 years of past UPSC questions. Why I am saying is that I have solved around some 3,000-4,000 questions of past UPSC 10 years, because by solving the past year UPSC, you can easily get to know how UPSC is asking, and if UPSC asks in this way and I have to attend in this way. So this is the best way to tackle UPSC. You need to get in the mind of UPSC, so you should always go for previous year questions. First, go for UPSC previous year questions, so that you can get the grasp of UPSC. Above all, it helps you to decide whether you can write this year prelims or not. Tips to avoid negative marking. Many people lose their prelims by negative marks. They'll write lot of questions, and many will go in negative. So how to avoid negative marking? Don't try anything new in prelims. Try the methods and strategies that you already tried in your mock test and got hold of it in mock test, and try only those methods in the UPSC prelims. Don't ever try new strategies like elimination method, common sense method and all. Don't directly go to UPSC prelims and then try. You just try everything in the test series itself, so that you can easily replicate the same in the UPSC prelims. Don't circle in options if you don't know any of them. At least eliminate one option. Don't just go by clueless guess or faded memory. Just go by logic. Circle in if you know at least that 2 options are wrong, and you can go for your intelligent guess for further 2 options. Don't ever depend on your faded memory, that I have read somewhere but I forgot now, something is in my mind, I can't get it. Don't pick based on that faded memory. It will definitely derail you from the path of UPSC. Always go for logical connection. If you find logical connection, then correct, choose that answer. Else don't choose. Don't go for probability. Many people have said that if I attend 90, definitely I will get 60 correct. No, UPSC is not sheer luck or probability. Okay, every question has some logics. If you know the logic, attend. Don't go for probability. Only logic will help you in UPSC. So eighth question that was given to me was how to read schemes and what schemes to read. Schemes, everyone knows. If you follow current affairs, you have read all the schemes. But in the schemes, what and all to read? Name of the scheme, ministry under the scheme implementer, to whom, whether to adult, whether to pregnant woman, whether to children below age of 6, to whom that particular scheme is addressed. Purpose, right to work, right to food, or access to job opportunities. To what that scheme is helping. Center state, how much share, 50-50, 75-50, 75-25, 90-10, etc. These things you need to know. And unique points of the scheme, which is not in other schemes but specific to these schemes. For example, NREGA, job opportunities for all. This much amount per day, 150 days. So if you are not government can't give job, they will give certain amount. These are all unique to NREGA. So you have to read the schemes in this particular format. Questions can't go out of this format for sure. Now, what are the reports that are important for UPSC? See, there are at least 60 plus reports and indexes. For example, IAP report, consumer production, wholesale price index. Lot of reports are there, lot of indexes are there. You need to know the name, who is releasing it, what rank India holds, what is the trend, what is the reason for it. So at least 2 to 3 questions from reports and indexes will be there, and you should not lose those marks, and revise those reports and indexes before going for prelims. At least 2 to 3 days before, so that you can know the rank and the trend. So the next question given to me was importance of budget and economic survey. So budget is a very bulky document, no one can read it fully, and generally UPSC asks maximum 1 question for budget. So the cost benefit ratio is not that good. So my opinion, from my understanding, you can do these things. What are all important in budget? New schemes. For example, if any new scheme is announced in the budget, read those schemes. Allocation of budget in different heads. For example, for health, education, defense, what percentage of amount is allocated to these departments, you should get to know. Deficit, how we are doing in fiscal deficit, whether we are going in right direction, what is the trend for past 10 years, those things you have to read. Any new fund is created, for example for climate, for protection of environment, any new fund is created, you have to read those. Any new tax is levied, or any tax is wapas, you have to read those things. Any path breaking information is there, that's it. These 5 to 6 you need to read. You no need to read the entire budget, and you no need to remember anything other than that. No numbers are important, just trend is important, whether we are going up, whether we are going down, how we are related to each other, that's it. You no need to read the numbers from budgets. And economic survey. So economic survey is a very wonderful document. It not only gives about economics, it's about polity, it's about social, everything about India. So volume 1 is very good in analysis, is generalistic. Each chapters in the economic survey will take one problem to analyze. So you have just go and read and have a glance, your mind will broaden. It's like reading editorial in Hindu only. Now volume 2. Volume 2 is very bulky, and it has lot of numbers, very difficult to memorize. But does UPSC ask numbers a lot of time? No. They will ask certain things which I will list out. You should know meaning of all the terms they have used in that economic survey. What is swing producer? What is interest coverage ratio? So every economic survey will have introduced some new economic terms. You should know meaning of all the terms, which will be in the index portion or at appendix, or you have to search in the internet to get the meaning of it. Take notes of it. Trend. No need to remember the numbers, but you need to know the ascending or descending order. For example, how the trend of indirect tax collection, whether it is increasing for past 5 years or decreasing for past 5 years. How is the trend for primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector? How is the contribution? Whether one is increasing, which one is increasing, which one is decreasing. So you have to know the trend. You don't need to know the exact number, but you should need to know the trend. Next, export imports. What products we are exporting, what products we are importing, what is the trend, which country is exporting high on which product, top 3, bottom 3. So these kind of things you have to know, because they are asking this. Sector based trend, primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. You have to take the number, analysis, and see the trend. Which sector is performing at what level, which sector is performing at low level, like that you have to know. Formal sector, informal sector, which is contributing high, which is contributing low. These kind of things you have to see from the numbers and get from the numbers. Labor data, performance of India in climate change, hunger with respect to other countries. These are all will be in the volume 2, and you have to analyze yourself from those numbers. Trends in GDP, GAI, GNI. So you see lot of tables regarding GDP, GI and GNI will be there. So you have to see the table and derive the trend yourself, because nobody will be there to help you from see the table and derive the information. So UPSC generally ask the trend. Keep in mind, numbers are not important. See the trend, increasing, decreasing, top 3, bottom 3, like that. Okay, that's more than enough. So I'm done with my questions given to me, and now I will try to answer your questions.